Surprise, Hillary state trashed 45,000 ballots on Election Day. There has been speculation on the topic of voter fraud swirling over the last presidential election. Recent news of voter fraud in an overwhelming dominant Hillary-won state has many officials and voters alike scratching their heads. As it would turn out, the ACLU is suing the state of California because of the fact that they trashed upwards of 45,000 ballots on the day of the election. Why, you might ask? Well, according to the official ACLU website, officials were throwing away vote-by-mail ballots if they weren't sure if the handwriting didn't match the signature on the file for the voter. In other words, they are very easy to manipulate. Michael Risher, senior staff attorney at ACLU of California, had this to say: people should not be denied their right to vote because a government official doesn't like their penmanship, but that's exactly what is happening in California. He went on to explain that one vote that was tossed in the trash when it was correct is too many. With that in mind, tens of thousands were thrown away in one state during one election. The kicker here is that there is nothing in the law that specifically states that voters need to sign their ballot envelopes a special way. At the same time, officials in charge of the voting process are not obligated to tell voters that their votes are being thrown away. This is a big problem because in this case, voters never even knew that their ballots were tossed and had no chance to fix their mistake. Many people cast their votes and they were never accounted for one way or the other. The lawsuit being filed demands that voters are informed of any signature mismatches or other concerns. There needs to be some sort of way to correct the error before it is thrown into the trash. Realistically, the solution could be as simple as a phone call where you verify some information. You could also physically show up as solid proof that you are who you say you are, and then your vote would be counted. Julie Epstein, another senior staff attorney at ACLU, stated, "This disenfranchisement of eligible California voters is unconstitutional. Thousands more Californians stand to lose their vote in next year's election if this issue is not rectified now." It is evident that 45,000 votes can easily sway an election, both countrywide and locally. This problem needs to be addressed so that the people in California can have their voices heard. These people do not deserve to be drowned out because of the way their signature looks. A stunning 60% of the votes in 2016 during the general election cycle was sent in by mail. Furthermore, over half of the state's voters set their status to vote by mail for life. This means that across the board there is room for voter fraud if over half of all ballots can be simply tossed in the trash. The elections can be manipulated to go either way. ACLU has the right idea here. They are trying to buckle down and show that there is likely voter fraud to some degree going on here by tossing out ballots without even checking into the ones that are questionable. They are insulting the American people who are trying to participate in our democracy. And how much you want to make a bet that those 45,000 ballots that were tossed were in favor of Trump because it's a California state? Because there's no way that they would have trashed them if they said Hillary, they voted for Hillary. Anyway, this all has to be cleared up and made sure that this doesn't take place again for the next election.